Welcome to Heater City here on Thursday, December 15th, 2016. And you're trying to stay warm. It's all of 10 degrees today. It was 2 when we woke up. It's climbed up to 10. And right now it's about 15:30 in the afternoon Eastern Time. So hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey here on, as I said, Thursday, December 15th, 2016 at, well, it's 16:30 in the afternoon now. I would have done this a bit earlier, but I got a thing in, a notification on my emails from YouTube about this fellow that I really like over in England called The Best of Steve B. Now I mentioned him I think a week ago, and he tried his live stream again today. Now that I know he's doing it at a set time each week, or that's his plan anyway, which might go by the wayside, as a lot of these, oh, I'm going to do this, type plan stuff goes. But it'll be at 14:30 Eastern Time in the afternoon every Thursday. At least that's his plan. He's in the UK, so he does it at 19:30 over there in the evening in the UK. Every Thursday night. I think he's having a lot of fun with this. He's experimenting, which is good because I mean, shit, you can't spring full blossom from your mother's tit, can you? You have to work around a bit and see what you want to do and how the world works. He's sort of trying to do it. He's kind of trying to do it. It's like a radio broadcast, I guess. Which that wouldn't be the way I do one of these things. But then I don't really have any desire to do one of these things. Now, if I ever get up to maybe 600 or 700 subscribers, I might try one of these. But I am an acquired taste, and that's fine. Well, that's good. I think the best biological products are an acquired taste. In terms of the fracture, this thing's helped. I've read some stuff about this today. Yeah, I knew what I had, but it's always nice to have your presuppositions and suspicions confirmed. So I'll try to stop whining about it. It actually hasn't hurt nearly as much today. Not even when I tended to my behind. I even took a shower. Thank the good Lord for all the inanimate objects in my house that have to smell me. I've been watching, well, it's off now, but I've been watching some more QAF, first season. And many thanks to Tony Pinch for sending me that, because I'm getting a huge kick out of that. But that's not why I want, as often here is, the best is saved for last. I got a call from an old friend of mine. I've known this guy since 1977. he wandered up the backyard there when I lived on North 4th Street there in Columbus, Ohio in 1976, October. Must have been the weekend. I don't know. Well, it had to have been the weekend unless I was off the day after call and I was an anesthesia resident. And it had to have been moderately early afternoon because otherwise I would have been, getting ready to, launch into the day the next day. But of course that often delays. You always do the next day, but sometimes you don't get as much rest as you expected to get the night before. Those of you of a certain age know what I mean. So I don't know. He came up. He was found lingering in a bar down on campus by friends of ours. I can't remember which particular friend of ours, but anyway, he comes wandering up, and he's one of these guys you just sort of fall into telling stories with, and stories come back, and then you tell a story, then another story. And of course, you never know how much of that's bullshit and how much of that's genuine, and in his case, most of it was genuine. I mean, subsequently I knew him long enough to realize that and find out that the stuff he talked about actually had happened. Or at least he had a whole group of people willing to tell the same story in the same terms who weren't there that day. So, anyway, he called me on the phone. Now, he had tried to call me a week ago, and it was on a day that I've been a very full day, and I tried to get back to him, but he didn't answer at that point, and that's not unusual because he's got a full plate too. I don't have a full plate, but I did that day. Anyway, we got talking about cable services, and I guess Time Warner may merge with AT&T, and then they talked about how Time Warner and the Comcast thing fell through. But the interesting thing about this is, once again, getting to the point. In the mid-1970s, let's say from 76 on in Columbus, Ohio, AOL and Time Warner, or whatever that name was at the time, started their cable experiment, their cable box experiment. You could get cable TV if you signed on with them, and then they brought out this box. Well, it looks very much like a high, a modem from years. It's like a little box. And they called it the Qube box. Oh, no, they called it the Qube. They called it the Qube. In fact, their service is called Qube, Q-U-B-E, Qube. And it was very standard in the sense that, they ran a cable in from wherever they had hung lines and drilled through the side of your house. But instead of having like a junction box, on the side of your house where there were things that interfaced with it. This thing sat on top of your TV, and that sort of ran the show. They called it the Qube box, the Qube box. That was high tech in 1976. And for a long time after, because it never really seemed to catch on in other cities in the United States, they tried it. Didn't catch on that well in Columbus, but it never went away entirely. But boy, did they fuck you on the prices. And boy, did they fuck you on the service. I.e., high prices, almost no service. Almost no working sometimes either. this, I'll go so far as to say this was not my choice to do this. It was my now ex-wife's choice to do this. And this was before, oh no, this was after we got, yes, this was my now ex-wife's choice to do that. This doesn't say I didn't watch the stuff that came in over. Well, anyway, Mike worked for these people a few years after that. Let's say, well, he might have been working for them then, but let's just say in the early 80s, Mike worked for them. Only he was working for them as a repo man, a cable box repo man. He was also working as a cable box installer man. And he talked about how he did various things. And then when he finally got taken off the repoing stuff and the installing stuff, he then worked like in customer service on sales. Oh, I'm sorry, customer service on sales. That's called customer fraud on extortion. Let's use the real word. Well, you can't be extorted if you don't want to be, can you? So, he had to call these people to try to sell them cable service. You know, he was then back into sales as opposed to repoing and, you know, coming out and collecting the box of people that they didn't want their box anymore. Sometimes these people would get quite violent when he came out to collect their box, not because they weren't glad to see him come, but they were glad to get, but they took out him as a visible physical, you know, sometimes they'd cut the cable off and they'd swing it as a mace at him, you know. Whoosh. You know, here's your fucking box. I mean, you can do somebody serious harm with one of those things. I didn't know at the time, but they were about $1,000 a piece, and that's in 1975 money. Enough of that. In any case, so he called this woman and she just picked right up on him. You know, she didn't even give him time to go into his spiel. And she says, you know, she answers the phone. She says, "Are you Jack Hodges? Are you Jack Hodges?" And Mike said, "No, I'm not Jack Hodges. I'm trying to." "Are you Jack Hodges? Stop calling me. Stop calling me. I told you, he's not here. He's not here." Mike was persistent. He called back. She said, "Is that you? Are you still asking for Jack Hodges? Are you still asking for Jack Hodges?" This happened a couple more times. So Mike waited about an hour and a half. And then he called her again. And she didn't say anything this time. And so Mike says to her, "This is Jack Hodges. You have any calls for me?" She went nuts. She went nuts. I don't think he made the sale. And then I don't know if Stephanie and he were married at the time or not, but in any case they were living together for sure. And his woman Stephanie got a job with the Time people or the Warner or the Qube people. We just called it Qube at that time. And her job was to sell people, this service, this cable service. And on the occasion of this one call that she made to this woman that I will describe, Qube, as they presented themselves in Columbus, had just sold a package of Ohio State football games. Well, now, of course, you have to sell your left nut to try to find an Ohio State football game on a broadcast network. And this wasn't a broadcast network; it was a cable network. So that's like the thin edge of the web in terms of not being able to watch Ohio State football without paying for it, one way or another. And so this woman answered the phone, and Stephanie identified herself as a Qube representative. And this woman just sort of launches in, apropos of nothing. My Wendell died. Oh, we were in love and this, and and he died. I had to bury him, last week, and this is terrible. What am I gonna do? And Stephanie listened to this for about a couple of minutes, minute and a half. And one of the classic lines of all time, she says, "Dry your eyes, honey, the Bucks are back." And the woman goes, "Ah!" Well, I can't say I enjoyed dealing with these Qube people when we had the service there at our house on North 4th Street in Columbus, Ohio. In fact, when we had to sort of go into exile in Fort Wayne, Indiana, when I came back finally in late March of 1979. Is that right? Yeah, no, 1980. Late March of late March of 1981. Is that right? Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, when I came back to finalize the sale of the house, I'll never forget my joy of getting out my wire cutters and cutting that fucking cable that hung onto the side of our house, my house. Just because of the way they had fucked with me. I finished residency in 78. We went to Fort Wayne in 79. So it had been March of 79. Came back in March of 80. Met Paul in November of 80. Started at Grant in March of 80. Retired from Grant in March of 91. Paul and I split up here December 2016. Well, November actually, 2016. So there's a summer in my life. say, I can feel the osteoclast working even now. That's kind of like what the Jehovah's Witness woman said to me when I extubated her and she had a hemoglobin of 4. She says, I feel God making blood for me even now. Well, it turned out he was, so she did okay. I was on a list. I was like the Jehovah's Witness go-to anesthesiologist in the United States for a long time. They have good insurance. I can't bad-mouth them and bad-mouth them at all. So I'm going to say bye-bye, you people.